Hey friends, let's do 50 blues and rock licks. These are all for the beginners to the intermediate players, so let's get into it. So most of these are going to be in the key of E minor. So we play the first one for you. So we're starting with a bend on the 14th fret on the G. Play 12 on the B, 12 on the E, back to 12 on the B, and then do a bend on 15 on the B. Slowly. So I'm starting on the G, play open hammer onto 2, play open B, open E, back to open B, 3, pull off to open on the B. Then just play G, 3, 2, open hammer onto 1, and then second fret on the D. This time just play the open E, then play the B, open hammer onto 2, back to E, open 3, open, then go 4 on the G, 3 on the B, back to 2 and 2, open on the G and the B, hammer onto the first fret on the G, play second fret on the D, open E string, and then play the E and the B string there. This time we're bending the 8th fret on the B and holding 7 on the E. Play 9G, 9D, and then just play 8D, 9G together. Back to 7D, 9G, back to 6D, 9G. So this time on the E string, 15, 12 to the B string, 15, 12, G, 15, back to B, 12, back to G, 15, 14, 12, 14, 12. So this time bend the 14G. Play 15B, bend 14G again and release and pull off to 14. This time start on 12 on the D, hammer onto 14, and then play 12G. So before we go on, think of these as ideas that we can use in different scales and using different tempos. So that first one, I could play at a different tempo. So that time I held the 14 on the D. I could repeat it over and over again. And we can also have it in different positions as well. So I can do exactly the same lick as long as I'm playing the right notes of the pentatonic scale. So that one would be 12, hammer onto 15, because I have my minor pentatonic. On the B is 12, 15, on the E is 12, 15. So I'd go 12, hammer onto 15 on the B, and then play 12 on the E there. I could come back to my 5th position, E minor. Using a different tempo in a different position. So you can do that with most of the licks and try them in different spots using different tempos. Let's continue. This time we have 14, pull off to 12 on the G, play 14D, back to 12G. This time do a bend on 14G, and then just play 12G. starting on the G string, bend 14, release the bend, pull off to 12. Play 14 D and then back to 12 G. This time bend 14 on the G and play 15 on the B as well, but we're just bending 14 on the G. This time we're bending the 14 on the G, just playing the 12B and 12E and just bend the 14. Now we're bending 14 on the G, then just play 12B, 12E. And you can bar that there to make it a little bit easier and sort of roll your fingers so we're not holding both notes at once. This time we're bending 14G again, play 12B, 12E, do a bend on 15E, release the bend and then play 12 on the E. This time play 12 on the E, do 15, pull off to 12 on the B, and then just do a bend on 14 on the G. Pull off to 12 on the G, then do 14 pull off to 12 on the D, and you can do that as many times as you like. Bend on 14G, and then just finish 12G. So I'm starting on the B, 12, slide up to 15. Play 15E, back to 15B, do a bend on 17E, release and then play 15 on the E there. This time we're doing 10, slide up to 12 on the B, play 12E, back to 12B, do 15, pull off to 12 on the B, 14G, back to 12 on the B, 12 on the G. This time we're bending on 14, bend and release, pull off to 12, then just play 14. This time do 12, hammer onto 14 on the D, play 12G, back to 12D, do a bend and release on 14G, and play 12G. This time we're playing 15B and E, just bend on the B, release and then play 12 on the B there. This time we're playing the D and the G on 14, pull off to D and G12. Play the A and the D14, back to D and G14. This time starting on the G, 12, hammer onto 14, pull off to 12. Back to 14, D, back to G, 12, 14, to B, 12, back to G, 14. This time we're just bending 15 on the B, pull off back to 12, so we release the bend, then pull off back to 12. Then it's all legato, G, 14, 12, D, 14, 12, A, 14, 12, slide back to 10, then just play 12 on the G there. This time we're going to play 14A, 14D, 14G, back to 12 on the G, 14D, back to 12 on the G. This time start on the E, do 12, pull off to 11, pull off to 10, come back to 8, hammer on to 9, then 10 on the B, 9 on the G, back to 10 on the B. Start on 14 on the D, go to 14G, go back to D, 14, 13, 14 on the G, back to D, 13, 12, back to 14G, back to D, 12, 11. This time we have 14 bend and release, pull off to 12 on the G string, and then back to D, 14, G, 14, D, 14, 12, G. This time start 15E to 15B to 12E, back to 12B, 15B, 14G, 12 on the B, back to 12 on the G. This time we're doing 15 pull off to 12 on the E, play 13B, back to 12E, and you can do that as many times as you like. Then just finish with a bend on 15 on the E. This time starting on the G, 14, hammer on to 15, hammer on to 16, 15 on the B, back to 16G, do a bend and release on 17 on the B, and 15 on the B. This time play 14 on the B, pull off to 12, play 14G, and then 12, hammer on to 13 on the G, play 12E, and then just play 13 on the G, 15 on the B. This time start sliding up to 15 on the B and the E and play it 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go back to 12 on the B and the E, play 14 on the G and the B, and then go back to 12 on the B and the E. So on the D, 14, 12, 14, G, 12, back to D, 14, back to the G, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12 on the B, back to 14G, 12B, and then do a bend on 15B. This time G, hammer onto 11, B10, back to 11G, and then do a bend on 12B and a release, and just play 10 on the B. This time starting 14 on the D, go to 12G, 14D, 14 on the G, back to 14D, then jump to 12B, back to 14D, and then just finish with a bend on 15B. starting on the D, 2 slide to 4, play 4 on the B, go back to the D, 4 slide up to 5, 5 on the B, back to the D, 5 slide up to 7, 7 on the B, back to the D, 7 slide up to 8, then play 8 on the B, back to 7. This time we're starting on the B10, start with the bend up and release it. Then play 9G, 8 on the G, back to the D, 10, 7. This time bend on 15E, release, play it again and pull off to 12, then play 15B, back to 12E, back to the B, 15, 12, to G, 15, 14, 12. So this time starting on the D, 12, 14, 12, go to 14 on the G, back to 12 on the D, 15 on the G, back to 12 on the D, 14 on the G, back to 12D, do a bend and release on 14G, and then just play 12G. This time we go on G, 15 slide to 16, 15B, back to G, 16, 15, 15 on the B again, back to G, 15, 14, 15 on the B, back to the G, 14, 12. This time we're just doing 12 on the B and the E, slide up to 15, and then play 15 two more times. And you can repeat that as many times as you like. And just do a bend on 17 on the E, release back to 15. This time B, 15 pull off to 12, go to 14 on the G, go back to 11 hammer on to 14 on the G, and just finish 12 on the B. This time we're going to bend on 14G, so bend and release and pull off to 12, but we're also playing 15 on the B. Pull off to 12, play 13 on the G, to D, 14, 12, 14. This time start with a bend on the 10th fret on the E, then play 10 again and pull off to 8, play 9, so jump to B on the 10, pull off to 8, to the G, 9, 8, 7, come back to 5 and slide up to 6, 5 on the B, and then 7 on the D. This time we're just sliding up to the 11 on the G, play 10B, 11G, back to the B, 10, 12, then do a bend on 12E, bend and release, and 10 on the E. This time slide up to 14 on the A, go to D, 12, 14, then play 12G, 13 on the B, back to 14 on the D, 14 on the G and the B, and finish on 12G, 13B. This time slide up to 12 on the E. Now while on the A string, 10, 12, play 12 again to bend and release. Back to 10, 12, slide up to 14, 12 on the D, back to 12 on the E. This time bending on 15 on the B, play 12 E, bend 14 on the G, 12 on the B, bend 14 on the G again, bend and release back to 12. This time start with the bend on 17 on the B, so we start with the bend up, release, then just play 15, 16 on the G, back to 15B, 15 on the G, back to 15B, 14 on the G, slide back to 12 there. Thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed 50 blues licks. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell and I'll see you soon.